Today we're going to be changing the brakes. A little bit chilly outside today, but we're going to be changing the rotors and the brake pads on a Santa Fe 2017. So I got my tools. The rotors look really nice, but they vibrate. You would think that they're perfect, but they're not. They look really nice, but when you put the pedal down, it really vibrates. So we're going to take that wheel off and do the back too. We got premium brakes and just standard $20 brake pads. The whole thing's probably $320. So if you do it yourself, instead of paying $1,200 or whatever, it's $350. If you get the cheap ones, probably under 300, 250 or so for everything. So there you have it. On this one, my Cadillac has 19. This is 21 millimeter. So I got a brake bar here, and a lot of the cars, there's nowhere to put it underneath. Good thing I got a nice long jack, and as you can see, you can put it on the lip, but it doesn't give you much strength. So I put it right under that bolt where the engine, I guess, mount is, the whole thing. So I just put it there. Looks like a good place. So let's get to it. Okay, I took the wheel off, and as you can see, the rotor looks perfect. Little lip here, but that's normal. So, but it's still vibrating. You could put a micrometer on it. I have one, but I have no way of attaching it. You would attach it to something like here and there, and when you spin it, and if there's a lot of play difference, then the rotor might be bad, or even the hub. Sometimes you change the rotors and it still vibrates because the hub is warped. Okay, there's a Phillips screw to hold that place up. There's two bolts here, and another one here to take the sliding pins out. And for that bracket, there's one here and here. Okay, and here there's not too much. I put the tire underneath. Not many places to put jack there, so I put it on that lip. It looks like it's very thin everywhere. The sockets are 17 and 14. For the sliding pin is 14, and for the bracket is 17. For the 17 bolts at the bottom, I use a ratchet, but I use a long extension because I never have strength in my hand, so I just use like a gas line pipe or something. This one here, I might need something else because that bolt right there is in the way, so I can't do it. So maybe I need something in here. I'll see what I could do. I took the caliper off, a little bit rusted inside. You got the brake pads in here. They're almost gone. There's these ones. You just take them out with a screwdriver. So, and then there's the bottom one. Take that out too. I took the brake pads out. There's a little bit, maybe a month or two left, maybe 3. That one's a little bit actually more, and that has a little stainless steel plate to push it, and the squeal thing almost there. Took out the 2 brackets there. Probably needs to replace it. Probably it's in the kit. So all I have to do is hang this one up when I'm working on it. So I'll put a wire here and hook it up to that spring, so that way I don't put too much pressure on the hose. Clean it up a little bit here, and looks okay here. I hanged it up on the spring using a wire, so that way I could work on that bracket. Actually, when you take the caliper off and everything's much easier to work on that bolt at the bottom. It's really hard to get out, even because I didn't even have room with an extension bar. So I'll try it again. If not, I will use, not supposed to, but I don't have enough strength in my arms. I just use a hammer like that. And these are Stanleys, and I hammer and stuff, and I never broke one yet. So these are really strong. This is why the bottom one was really stuck. I couldn't even do it with the bar, but with the hammer, slowly, but it came out really slow. Looks like the thread is okay on the other one. There's nothing stripped, but I'll clean all this out because it won't go in very nicely. And put a tiny little bit of maybe a little bit of grease, because if I put that one in, it's going to be stuck again. And this one, as you can see, the bolt right there is interfering, so I need something else to take that bolt out on top. So I got this different extension, but as you could see, it's round. So if you put, let me show you, where is it? Is that 14, 15? Where'd I put it? Hold on. Okay, I got a different extension. This one wobbles, so there should be more room. The thing is, it's too short, so if you still put it in, I'll show you. You put it in, still that bolt, can't see it too good, but as you can see, it's not going in all the way, so I needed a longer one. I didn't have a longer one of the other ones that wobble, like 15 degrees or something. I put that on, still no good. Let's see, where is it? Here. Actually, maybe, yeah, but it's not going to spin. It's going up. So still that bolt. I could take that bolt out and do it, or maybe put just a normal wrench on it with the hoop and bang it with the hammer, but it might break. We'll see if I have it. We'll try with this one. So it's pretty long, that wrench, number 17, and the hoop is there. I like it. I think this one is 1, 2, 3, maybe, we'll see. I think it's like 12. I like to have it as many points as the bolt, that way it's easier, or I mean more tight. Well, we'll bang it and see. I don't want to do it with that because it might strip the bolt. Okay, that did it. It wasn't as hard as the bottom one. The bottom was completely rusted, so I put that wrench on there. You hold the socket right there, and then you bang it on the wrench there. Okay, interesting. Someone, I think whoever did it, maybe stripped or something the bolt. This is not original. The hardness is 10, but it has this spring washer on it. Again, it's very rusted. It didn't want to come out too easy, but much easier than the other one. So this is the bracket, and let's see if the sliders are okay. Yeah, they're going back and forth, and then the other one, doing it with one hand. Oh, that one, yeah, I gotta take it apart. Let me see. It's going a little bit hard. It's supposed to be easier. So I'll take it apart, clean it up. The best is to put silicone grease on it so that you don't damage the rubber. And the screws go in there that hold the caliper. Okay. When you look at the thread, it's actually quite a bit rusted. So I gotta do it all nicely on a wire wheel. Here's okay, but right there, it's a lot of corrosion. I'm gonna take that screw out, but even that one has a lot of resistance. Even it should be already very easy once you loosen it, but it's really, really hard. I got the screw out, but it's very rusted. That's why there was a lot of resistance. I'm going to put a little bit, clean it up, and I'm going to put a little bit of grease on it. That was, I thought I'm going to break it off. This one's a little bit different. There's another bolt there that I never saw before. Usually there's one, but there's one and two. Make sure you take both of them out. The second screw didn't give me much problems because it's not that rusted. It was easy to come out, very easy. Okay, the rotor looks nice and shiny. Well, they got nice ribs there, a little bit different. And I gotta clean up with this with wire brush and put some grease on it. Nobody put any grease on it, and it's all rusted and corroded. So we got two brake pads. The big one is always the front, so you can't make a mistake, and this is the smaller one. They got all the brackets and everything. I'm not sure how much that was. I think it was maybe $40 each. Sometimes they're 20, don't know. But altogether with the rotors, with the premium rotors, it was about $350. As you could see, the bigger box here, I gotta cut it open, would be the front ones. The front discs are always bigger and heavier, and they got the, oh, where's the tape? Oh, on both sides. Okay. There we go. It's in a nice package. I'm gonna get the degreaser. You could use rubbing alcohol too if you want, and a rag. I got them out. They're very heavy. You could see two bolts here. Oh, they're painted. Oh my god. That is heavy. Okay, let's put it like this and see if they're the same. Yep, they're exactly the same. Is it greasy? Yeah, a little bit, so I'm gonna degrease it. The sun went down. I'm gonna use this wire brush to clean it all out and put grease on it. That way you don't have to do this again. As you can see, the brush actually is really good because it fits right in between, so I could clean it nice. So I'll do that first. Took me a while to clean it up, like 15 minutes. But what you need, even with the wire brush, there's a lip outside and a lip inside. That's where the rotor sits on. The middle part, not so much. So when you get rusted spots, I couldn't even get it with the wire brush. I had to use a screwdriver and scrape it off. And I'm gonna grease it. I got NTC's grease, copper, from like 30 years ago. I'll use it. I actually got two. I got this nickel NTC's 1315 Celsius. I would just use that one. Copper one's good too, so I'll use that one. I put the nickel NTC's all over. Now I'll never rust again. And sometimes it gets stuck on there and you gotta try to get it off because it's seizes together with the rust. And I did it around because sometimes when the rim goes on there, it gets stuck and you gotta kick the tire to get it off. So I cleaned it all nicely and put the NTC's, and it should be good for life. That stuff doesn't go anywhere. I'm gonna decrease the rotor with rubbing alcohol. It's much cheaper. It's like $3 or $4 instead of paying for that brake cleaner, and it's doesn't have any chemicals in it. It works, and it's cheaper and doesn't stink. I cleaned it all. It doesn't have a lot of grease on it. It's painted. You don't have to clean that part. Just this part here and then on the other side. That's all. When you're putting it on, make sure you align this bolt here and this bolt there. They're really rusted, one of them anyway, so I'm gonna put some I like using this stuff. It's from Ford. It's about $15 or $13. So first do it inside because I think it's all rusted inside. So and then we got a wire wheel. That's what I'm gonna do. Clean them all up. Actually, for those two, I just put the rust penetrating fluid, and it should dissolve the rust. It should be okay. Leave it for 10 minutes. It should be okay. The rusted one, I put it in and put it out a couple of times, and now it's loose. Before it was really hard. So that one's the hard one, but it's okay now. It should be all loose. That one's easy. So it's all good. So for those screws, don't try to like really screw it in. It has to be really tight, but don't overdo it because it's Phillips and you're going to strip it. So it's just there to hold it. A lot of the cars don't have any of those, but it's much nicer because it holds it for you. If there isn't, it's wobbly. So they're just there to make it easier for you to put the caliper on. The caliper inside is a little bit rusted, as you could see. I'm going to clean it up on top, and I'm going to open the brake fluid cap on top in the car, and I'm going to use a little clamp and put it back in. I'm going to pop the brake fluid. It looks like there's nothing in it, so that means I need two people to bleed the brakes. I don't think there's anything in there. Even at low line, there's nothing in there, so I can't do it by myself. So next time we gotta bleed the brakes. That's why maybe they're a little bit spongy, because there's air in the brakes. I can't see it. No, I think it's empty. So if it's empty, you gotta bleed the brakes because they'll be spongy. You're gonna press that caliper in. I got a brake kit, but you could use a normal clamp. So just push it in. There's left and right. That's why there's two of them. One is left thread, and the other one is the right thread. I think it depends what side you're doing, because one you turn left, and then the other one is right. So I'm going to be holding the camera, but as you could see, there's no pressure. It just goes in. So I'm going to press it all the way in. Once it's all the way in, you could feel the resistance. Once there's a resistance, you don't have to press it hard. It should be it will just stop, and it's all the way in now. Okay, let's see the sliders. There's always one. I'll do it with the shoe. There's always one that has this this rubber at the back. Not sure why. I think that will be maybe the top. Wait, this way. I think it's the top. Anyways, put them back in the way they were. So this one, I'll clean it up and put more grease on it. Silicone grease is the best. I don't know what kind of grease they put on here. So that one's the first one. I'm gonna clean it up. And that one, yeah, both of them are really smooth. So it should be alright. And that's the second one. As you can see, I cleaned them up. There's no pitting, no rust, no nothing. So they're perfect. Sometimes they're so rusted, and then your caliper won't push on the other side, the outside. It will only push from inside. It will wear out your inside brake pad, not the outside. So these look perfect. I put the nickel copper NTCs. Works good. always used it. Make sure there's a lip there. Make sure you put grease in there too. If not, rust gets in there and then the seal doesn't stay on there, pops off. So make sure you do that. Do the same thing for the other one. There. Nope. Alright, so we'll put the other one in here. Left-handed. And there we go. See, right there, the seal goes on top. If it fills with rust, it's not going to hold. And more water is going to go in there. And then rust completely inside it. So this one is fine. And that one's fine too. So I'm going to put the bracket on. I wish I had new bolts. One is not original. I don't think it's wait, hold on a minute. I think both of them are not original. I got a feeling they're not original. Usually they don't have these washers at all. Maybe that's why they rust so much. They're not original. I don't usually see them that rusted, and they don't have this spring washers. But I'm gonna put it on. I gotta clean it up first because it's gonna strip the thread. Usually there's one piece, not two pieces like that. So never saw it like that. We'll put it on. Maybe we'll get some. Or I don't think these are original. Someone put them in. Okay, I gotta clean this up too, right there at the bracket, and I put some penetrating fluid inside these because you can't even see threads on here. That's how corroded it is. I cleaned it all up. Actually, there is no threads there. It was all rusted. This one I can't even take off the. It rusted to the head, the washer. So I'm going to put some penetrating fluid and let it come off. And then maybe if I could find some new ones, and I'm pretty sure these are not original. Whoever did the job probably stripped the bolts, put new ones in. But these are not auto bolts. They're hard. I think it's number 10. But they shouldn't rust that much. Okay, I think I'm going to reuse those washers. Can't find any. And I put a tiny little bit of grease so it doesn't, inside it doesn't get seized up again. Some people put the temporary Loctite on it, not the red one, I think it's blue. But I don't want to strip the threads when I try to get it out again. So those ones will go back in. I cleaned up the bracket where the brake pads go in, or the brackets on both sides. So that way it's easy to put in. I put the bracket in, all nice and good. Now I gotta put the brake pads in. We have the kit. There's a left one and right one. These are all the same, and these are all the same. There should be holes at the back. Yeah, there's little holes that you put them in. So on this one is the left driver side front. So this was on the outside. So are the outside the same? Yes, they are. They're the same. So these are different. So this one will be this one here. I don't think you need that bracket. Let me see. I'll take it off and see. Okay, so I got this little plate. On the old one, it actually fits because these are much smaller diameter. This one is much bigger. It doesn't sit down. So I might have to re-drill them. We'll see. I'm not going to put that bracket on because it doesn't fit in there. I don't want to drill the holes. But it looks like the piston goes right even beyond. So what I'm going to do is going to file it a little bit on both sides, just a little bit, just in case it hits these, because these are much smaller. Okay, I put the brackets in. The thing is, they're too close in here. Where are they? Oh, right there. That makes a squealing noise. So I have to bend them back somehow. Okay, as you could see, the old ones, they have a big gap here. The new ones, they're much different. They're the same, except that part here touches the rotor, and it's gonna squeal even after I bented it. So I might have to reuse the old ones. As you could see, it's like 2 millimeters towards, so I might use the other ones. I thought I could just bend it back, but I don't think I'll be able to. It's too much of a difference. It's about 2 mil. So the old brackets, I put them back in, and you could see there's a space, couple millimeters out of focus right there. A couple millimeters. The other one's touching, rubbing. I'm gonna put the outside one, Pro Max. Okay, the brake pads are put in. Very easy. There's a gap in here, and I'll put this on there. Maybe I'll put a little bit of grease on here, or file it. It's all rusted, bumpy. It's all rusted, but I'm not going to spray because I'm going to melt the seal, and then it's going to create a hole. So I think I'm just going to leave it. You could probably use silicone grease on it. I'm going to leave it. It's going to be the way it is. Don't forget to put those springs on. Don't press them down, and wear eye protection, because they spring up, and if you press it down, it will just spring right out. So don't forget about those ones. Okay, I tightened those 2 bolts, number 14. And what I was worried about is the piston touching, or not touching, those 2 little points. I didn't file them, but it looks like it's right against it, so it's fine. It should be alright. Yeah, it should be good. Took me a while, but the front is done. Front driver, everything's okay. What I'm gonna do is put some, actually it's painted. I'll still put a little bit of grease, so that way it doesn't rust right there when the salt gets in there. I put the grease all around. It should be okay. It's all done on this side. When you're putting the rim on, make sure there's no bumps or anything on all these. It looks all smooth. Oh no, right there. Take it off. Yeah, so go with your finger, and you'll know. Yeah, it's all smooth. It's good. Go and put the bolts back in. I don't know about this rim, but most of the rims, they go very easy. This one's very, very, very tight. There's no play at all, 0. And sometimes it's hard to come off, so you gotta kick the tire. When you're tightening the nuts, first do it without putting it down, so that way the wheel goes right in. What you do is this one, that one, always on the opposite side. And once they're nice and snug, let it go. That way the tire goes right in. Okay, we're gonna do the back one. The back left. So yeah, there's nothing to lift it up on the side. So good thing I got a long jack, and I'm gonna do it under that. It's thick enough. That arm right there. I'm gonna lift it up. This is the back left. It looks like everything's okay. There's a big lip actually on there. So, and the brake pads, I can't really see. I gotta take it off. First, undo the 2 bolts There's one at the bottom, number 14. They're pretty easy to do. The other one's at the bottom here. Right there. Looks like they're perfect condition, so it was very easy to get them out. Those bolts are taken out, 2 of them. Now take those 2 out. They're pretty easy if they're not rusted. If not, it was like the other one. But these ones were very easy to take out. Looks like the brake pads at the back, they're pretty good. Not much wear on them. I'll change them. I think there's another brake inside. We'll see when we take it off. There's 2 bolts there. I think they're 17s. Actually, they look much smaller. They're probably 14s. Okay, it's number 14 also for this bracket that holds the caliper, and these look fine too. So that's number 14, both of them. If you look at the springs, the back one is much smaller than the front one, so you can't make a mistake. A lot of people that put the brakes in, they put this gooey stuff in there, and I don't like that. The sand gets in there and it gets stuck. I don't know if you could see it. I like it dry, maybe even silicone spray on them. I don't put anything. That way they could slide. Even that one at the back is very hard to get it out, because once this gooey stuff with sand goes in, it's stuck. It doesn't go back and forth. So we got these brackets again. I got a feeling, yeah, it looks like, can't see it here, but I think they're bigger and longer again. We'll see. We might have to reuse them. They look the same here. So this is the old one. There's still a little bit left. Oh, that one's a lot. And this one has a little bracket too. Does this one has notches? No. So we could actually take that little bracket off and put it on there. I think it'll fit no problem. When they designed the car, they weren't thinking, again, that bolt is there, but I got most of it inside on here, so that's okay. So it should be all right. It's a smaller bolt at the back. I actually had to use an extension, little one here. Good thing I had one, because this is interfering. So in a bar, and it's much easier when you have no strength in your arms, because you're not right underneath. The extension I use is the one that is wobbles, but still, even though it's short, I have to take this off because there's the boot there. It's interfering. So I gotta take the boot off and do it now with the ratchet. Once you do a couple threads, this wrench actually goes beyond the bolt, and now you could do it. But before, it was right on the bolt here. So now it's all right. Gotta put it in, and it should be all right. Again, these bolts are horrible. Maybe they are original because they're similar, but it was hard to get them out. It's so corroded. I gotta clean them up again. I usually don't see that. Maybe because they got these, I think I know why. They got these cracks in here on the lock washer, and the water goes in and goes right in. Usually there's a lip on there. Once you get it really tight, the water doesn't get inside, but this one gets inside. So if that's the original, bad design. This one's really hard to get off. I think it's all rusted inside. They didn't put any grease on it, and it's very hard to get off. Okay, it's off. I think it was a little bit rusted there on the lip here. Not too much though. I think it's mostly in here. And then you got the parking brake here. It looks all right. It's okay. You got the little piston there. It's very, very light. This one you don't have to screw in. Is the same. You could use a little little clamp and put it back in. We got the new one. Beautiful. All painted. Beautiful. Nice. Then we got this old one with the lip. Let's see. lift it up and see if they're the same. Should be. Yeah, they're perfectly the same. Take a wire brush and make sure that lip, this one here outside and that one inside, is free of rust. So take a wire brush and then put some grease so you never have to clean it again. The parking brake, put a little bit of penetrating fluid on those joints and everything, so that way they loosen up and move nicely. But don't put any stuff on the outside of the pads, because you will destroy them. So put a little bit here and at the bottom, not too much, so that way everything's moving smoothly when you put the parking brake on, so it doesn't get stuck on you. This caliper is very light, it's aluminum. Even my set doesn't really fit inside, but as long as you have a little clamp, you could do it with a little clamp too. I got all kinds in here, but none of them fit actually inside. It's very small. It's like a bicycle piston. It's pressed in all the way. It doesn't look like it, but it doesn't go any further, so that's fine. So we'll leave it on there. Yeah, it's very light. Again, we gotta clean the where the brackets go for the pads. We gotta clean it up so that way they don't get stuck in there. Okay, it took me a while. I cleaned it all out. I used a battery operated with a wheel. I think that's brass, but it took me a while. But you gotta have it clean. If not, they get stuck. Yeah, at least 10 minutes it took me. Still, it's in there. To make it more clean, I'm gonna put some grease on underneath so that way it doesn't rust, because once it rusts and bubbles up, the brake pad doesn't move anymore. It gets stuck. The sliders look okay. Most people just leave it. I'll take it out, check them out, clean them, and put some grease on it and put them back in. Both of them look okay. I cleaned them up. They're the same. The other one had this rubber bushing on here. Okay, they look good. No scars or no peeling at all. They're both the same. Actually, that one on top has this, and then this one a little bit different, but it doesn't have the rubber like the other one. So, but they look both good. I greased it up. Make sure right there at the bottom you put it in. If it rusts, the water will get in. If you're putting that rotor on and it doesn't fit because it's too big, you could adjust it right underneath there. Oh, I can't see it here. Oh. There's a adjuster there. You can make it smaller, and then automatically adjusts when you press the your parking brake a few times. So there's the adjuster at the back, at the bottom. Again, I put a lot of grease on it all around, so that way it doesn't stick. Ready to put the rotor on. Make sure you align these little holes here. There's this hole right there. I'm going to take it off, the rubber thing from the old one, and put it back in there. It fit no problem. I didn't have to adjust anything. What does it say here? Oh. Put this rubber thing in here. The Phillips 2 screws. It's all good. Put a little bit of penetrating fluid there because it was really rusted. And here, put the brackets in. They don't sit perfectly like the other ones, but it's okay. I cleaned those bolts up. Again, this one is stuck. The other one's loose. The bracket is on. Now I'm going to put the brake pads on. Don't forget about this bracket. Put it back in there. It fits perfectly on there. So just put it back in. There's a little groove in here. Right there. There. Okay, the brake pads are in. This one was very easy. Make sure you get a lot of light. Press one up and then down, and it should be alright. Okay, that squealing thing is at the bottom. I put it the way it was before. And don't forget those springs at the back. There's 2 holes in there, and there, put them in there. Okay, I think those springs are a great idea. A lot of cars don't have it. Lately, I've been seeing them everywhere, and it's really good because they push apart, and the other ones drag. Okay, it's all done. Put the 2 bolts in there, socket number 14. This one was actually much easier to do. So do the same thing on both sides, and that's it. Again, make sure there's no bumps on here. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, right there. With your finger, and then scrape with a screwdriver. I'll put some grease on there too. Even though it's painted, I put grease on there. That will never rust again, especially on the lip, because sometimes it rusts and then it won't come off. This is the front passenger side. Looks like the CV joint axle was replaced because it was bad. So same thing as the other one. There's 14. The sliders 14, and then the bracket is 17. Same thing as before. You gotta take these springs from out here, hang the caliper, then press it in. Looks like the brake pads will be good for another 3 months or so, but it'll be winter. I don't want to be changing in winter. So I got these new ones. They're the same, except the notches there, the diameter is much smaller than these ones, so I can't use this bracket here. So I gotta reuse these ones because the other ones have this lip way bigger, so it hits the rotor, so I gotta clean those up. For this bolt, you put your hand out here and your knee underneath, and then go up because it's really hard again. For the top bolt, you need a wrench. You can't do it because of the bolt behind there, unless you want to take the bolt out. I got a 17 wrench. It's very long, and then I'm gonna just get a hammer and hammer it because not enough leverage, even though it's so long. Those rust. I don't know why so much, but they rust. It's very hard to get them out. Again, super rusted. I gotta clean them out. I think they get rusted, like I said, because they got these washers, and the water gets in there. Don't forget to take out those screws. There's 2 of them. Phillips, big Phillips. I think number 3. Again, very hard to take off. I'm using this hammer and lightly hitting it. Yeah, it got stuck again. I think it gets stuck at the lip. There's a big rust spot there, and gets stuck on there. I'll clean it up and put a lot of grease on it. That way, I don't have to deal with it again. Put some penetrating fluid. It was kind of rusted on there, and then I'm gonna put grease after that. And I did a wire brush, but it takes a while with the wire brush. Got the new rotor. Clean it up. Put it on. Okay, I put NTC's grease out and I degrease that, and I'm gonna put it on. Put those 2 bolts in. Okay, it's in. I gotta clean up these bolts and these ones here, and I gotta clean up these ones. I'm gonna reuse them. Cleaned up the bolts, those brackets. I cleaned this up. I put penetrating fluid because I still couldn't get some of it in the corners. Got the sliding pins. This one's a little bit used, and this one has the rubber seal thing. I'm gonna grease them up and put them back in. Okay, they're greased up. Went in. Oops. And that one went in. 2 bolts are done, and the brackets, the old ones, fit perfectly. So there's the bolt at the bottom, and then yeah, there's that one right there. The trick to put those in is actually do it on an angle like this, and then put it in, and it's so easy. Because if you try to put it together straight, you gotta press down. This way you don't have to. You kind of put it on an angle like this, and then it just goes right in. Same with this one. I always try to put it, okay, let me take it out. I always try to put it straight in, but if you put it on an angle like this, well, it's a little bit blurry, and then you just yeah, on an angle, and then just put it in. I'm gonna press the caliper in, and then put it on here. The caliper's in, and we're gonna mount it on. Okay, don't forget the springs. They really work. If I try to put the other one on, the one of the brake pads is coming out, so I gotta put the caliper and hold it at the same time. Okay, it's done. I put some grease on it. It's good. Make sure the caliper, press the brake a couple times, and make sure it's right against the brake pad, because there's 2 notches there, and they're a little bit bigger, but I thought I'd have to grind them a little bit, but I don't. It's fine. Okay, this is the last one, rear passenger. Again, there's a little thing you got to take out to transfer over. Don't forget about these. Again, take them out before you take it out. Number 14 on the sliders, and there's a big bracket. Okay, the brake pads at the back, they look pretty good, but we're going to replace them anyways. There's 2 springs, take them out. Okay, spray it around the lip there, because that's where it's got stuck. Spray with penetrating fluid. The bottom one is very easy. Put an extension bar and lift it up. Top one is pretty easy too, because it doesn't really interfere with that bolt right there. I'm not sure why, but it doesn't. And the extension bar is there. Again, very hard to get them out. Super rusted. I think I'm gonna rip them off even with the extension bar. Again, clean them up, put them back in, and clean that up too with there to put the brackets in. Again, it was very hard to take it off. I had to use this hammer, and don't hammer it too hard, and turn it and hammer it. Took like a couple minutes. This one looks pretty clean. I'm gonna spray it at the joints there, so when you put the parking brake, it doesn't get stuck again. Looks pretty good. I think what got stuck on the lip right there was rusted. I don't think it got stuck on the brakes, because sometimes they get stuck and there's a lip here, but there's no lip. So I think it's getting stuck because it's rusted right there. I used a little bit of penetrating fluid on all the joints. I got a little bit on the brake. Should be alright though. And at the bottom, if the rotor doesn't go up, again there's an adjustment you could use to make it smaller. Okay, I put NTCs on it. If it rusts too much, even if you're banging it on the rotor, you could damage the bearing if you hit it too hard. So it's good to put a lot of grease. That way you never have that problem. There's no lip on here. if there's a lip there, you have to adjust this one at the bottom for sure, because it won't fit. I kind of went a little bit down because once it goes more and more, it's gonna drag. So it's automatic, so it goes bigger and bigger. And just use a screwdriver and put it down. Okay, looks good. Put that screw in, that one at the bottom. Don't forget to transfer that rubber thing from, oh, this one doesn't have the rubber thing, I think. Oh, yes, it does, right here. Okay, the screws are in, the rubber thing is in too. Oh, one more thing. If you're screwing these in and it's going in hard, that means the parking brake, it's too tight. You gotta loosen it. It should be easy because it's gonna drag for a while before it gets worn out. Okay, I cleaned the bracket. I'm gonna put a little bit of penetrating fluid so the rust all goes away. It's important because they won't sit well. See, there's still a little bit of rust. There's layers and layers. I took most of it off. And then the bolts, they're super rusted. Now they're fine. These ones were fine, the top ones. And the sliders are fine. I'm going to grease them in and put them back in. Okay, I've greased them. And they popped in. There we go. I mounted the bracket, the two bolts at the bottom, right there. One there, and one at the bottom. Now I'm going to put the brackets in. Okay, the brackets are in. They don't sit perfectly, but good enough. And again, when you're putting them in, what you do is do it like on an angle. One hand here. But if you put it, same with the other one, you gotta put it on an angle. Oh, I gotta do it with both hands. Gotta keep the bracket. But if you do it on an angle and put it in. Okay, I put both of them in. Now I gotta put the springs on top. The springs are in. And I gotta put the piston back in the caliper over there. It's very light aluminum. Okay, I'm gonna put the piston back in, and then put those two bolts in, and we'll be done. Don't forget that little bracket. It fits. The front one doesn't fit, the back one does, so take it off and put on the new one. Alright, it's almost done. That took a while. It's all this cleaning. I'm going to put some grease on there and put the tire back on, and that's it. That's the last one, passenger rear. Put some grease on it, never rust again. And also make sure that you scrape that. If there's any bumps or whatever, then it's not gonna sit well.